All right, coming up on today's episode of Chicago Bears Now, I just witnessed one of the worst takes that I've ever seen in the internet era, and I'm going to react to it coming up here in just a moment when it comes to Cole Kmet. And speaking of the Bears tight end, what are your expectations for him? Because I feel like he's kind of become a forgotten man here. Colston Loveland's here now. You got all these sexy weapons at receiver. Give me your expectations, your thoughts on Cole Kmet coming into this season. Worst take ever. That is what former Packers quarterback and now content creator Kurt Benkert provided as he does some work for Bleacher Report. And he basically did I think it was like 5 or 6 players that could get cut or traded post-June 1, which is a good topic idea this time of year, but maybe the wrong person to deliver it and to come up with this list. Here's what he said, because he thinks Cole Kmet could get cut. He said, Cole Kmet might have some trade value, maybe, but I could see him getting straight up cut. His cap savings could be worth more than his potential value to the Chicago Bears this year. Maybe, which he kept saying maybe. It's like, do you even believe what you're saying? They just got Colston Loveland. They're tied into the future. Colston Loveland is a dog. I agree with all that. He's has a chance to be a big-time player. I think Cole Kmet, at his age, with some new faces coming to Chicago, could be on the list of guys that wouldn't be shocking if they got cut. It's not because he's not a great player. I think he's actually a pretty good player, but he's got a lot of cap savings. There's so much to unpack here that I quite frankly don't really even know where to start. And before I really do kind of unpack and give my reaction to how ridiculous this is when just the plot gets completely lost from Benkert. I'm not a cap guru, clearly. We'll outline that in a second. But it looks like the Bears could save $12 million if they cut him post-June 1st. The way the team is going, maybe they cut him, maybe they don't. I think if they decide not to cut him, he'll bring a lot of value to the team this year. It'll come down to the numbers, talking about like the cap hit. Okay, let's get to the numbers. Cole Kmet's cap hit this year, $11.6 million. First of all, just regardless of the savings, I'd say pretty reasonable for what he provides. Even coming off a down year, I'd still say at worst he's a top half of the league starting tight end. That's not $11.6 million isn't even top 10 in terms of cap hit. So pretty reasonable. Post-June 1st cut, Kurt Benkert, who says he's not a cap guru. That's the one thing he said that's true. Said he thinks it would save $12 million. You know what the real number is? $100,000. So if they cut Cole Kmet, he currently costs $11.6 million against the Bears cap this year. If they cut him, he costs $11.5 million against the cap this year. So they could save a whole $100,000 by cutting Cole Kmet, currently the best tight end on this team. Great breakdown, Benkert. Absolutely fantastic work that he's doing over there. Look, maybe he was looking at next year's cap chart because Cole Kmet does become a possible cut candidate that next year from a fiscal standpoint and maybe from an on-field standpoint. We'll get to that in a little bit. But I feel like that's even giving him too much of the benefit of the doubt. And forget the money for a second. There's a lot of reasons why you would not cut Cole Kmet right now. Number one, he's just a proven commodity. Like, even off a down year, right? Like, how many times coming out of games last year were you like, where the hell has Cole Kmet been? Even last year in that shitty offense, he still had almost 50 catches, almost 500 yards, and 4 touchdowns. It's not like he did nothing. And if you average his last 4 years out, he's basically over 600 yards and gives you about 5 touchdowns a year. So, like, this is a guy who for 4 years now, after his rookie season, has been very steady. Now, is he an all-pro? Is he all-world? Is he a superstar? Can he get to that status? Probably not. I don't think he's agile enough. I don't think he's elite enough as a blocker, but he's pretty well-rounded, right? Like, he's a starting caliber, upper echelon tight end. I'd say top half at worst, and I think at times he's been a top 8, top 10 tight end in the NFL. So that's not a player you trade, especially going into a critical season with Caleb Williams needing to take that next step. Number 2, I agree that I think Colston Loveland's a dog and that he has a chance to be a big-time player. He hasn't even practiced yet. 0 NFL practices. He's still recovering from a shoulder injury. Can we see the guy practice, much less play first? Like, there's no reason to increase pressure on Colston Loveland. Like, he's already going to be behind the 8 ball. Like, when he gets to training camp and he is cleared from injury, that is the timeline, that is the expectation. Yeah, it'll be awesome to see him out there. Reality is he'll probably make a lot of mistakes early, and it's going to take a lot of time. And the tight end position is one of the tougher ones to learn as a rookie because you're learning blocking schemes, route running concepts. You're basically learning 2 positions. Like, it's not easy. So, like, you're going to cut Cole Kmet because Colston Loveland, you think he's going to be a dog? Like, it's his rookie year, and he's not even able to practice yet. Like, that's just insanity. Number 3, Ben Johnson, which we've talked about, really likes 12 personnel. What is 12 personnel, Harrison? 2 tight ends set formations where 2 tight ends are on the field at the same time. Detroit ran the third most of those last year. Can't remember the percentage exactly. I want to say it was like 36, 37%. We did a video on this a couple months ago. And that's why we talked about, like, need to add a tight end. Didn't know if it would be in the first round, but, like, they needed to get one that they could trust to be that second guy. And I do think Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet mesh pretty darn well. Like, can we see that before we just cut Cole Kmet? Number 4, okay, cut Cole Kmet. You probably have some good depth pieces, right? Not really. Durham Smythe is a fine tight end 3. Like, he's fine. Steven Carlson is a journeyman practice squad caliber player. If he makes the team, he's like one of the last guys on the roster. Joel Wilson, Jordan Murray, no thank you. Like, those are camp bodies. Like, if you cut Cole Kmet, not only does it increase the pressure on Colston Loveland, but Durham Smythe has to play a bigger role than he probably needs to. Steven Carlson has to make this team, or you have to go sign somebody, like bring Mercedes Lewis back, who wasn't very good last year. Like, it just doesn't make any sense from a top of the tight end room standpoint to the depth of the position you currently have standpoint. And then again, just to reiterate, it makes no sense financially. I put that one last because maybe Benkert was looking at 2026 instead of 2025. I feel like that's giving him too much benefit of the doubt, but I'll provide it there. But there's just several other reasons why it makes no sense to do that right now. And oh, by the way, on top of all of that, let's say, I don't know, Ben Johnson didn't like the vibe of Cole, or Ryan Poles wanted to move, whatever reason they wanted to move on. Well, then you trade him. Kurt Benkert was like, he could have trade value. Maybe it's like, no, he would have trade value. He's a starting NFL tight end who's played at a pretty high level for several years now, who is still pretty young. And by the way, he mentioned his age. Cole Kmet, I'm going to double check this right now. I think he's 26 years old. He turned 26 in March. Tyler Shuck just got drafted. He turns 26 this year. Like, Cole Kmet is still young. Like, there's a chance he's still ascending. Now, again, I think his play style, I don't think a major ascension could still happen. Like, he's not going to all of a sudden have Travis Kelce yards after the catch ability. But, like, he's still on the younger end of his career potentially. Like, why are we talking about this guy? Like, hey, just got to move on. Why? I know you just drafted a guy in the first round. Hasn't practiced yet. If anything, he enhances Cole Kmet. So, I just think none of it makes sense. You definitely wouldn't cut him. Even if you were to trade him or wanted to move on from him, you would trade him because there would be teams interested. I don't know if anyone saw that report that the Steelers might trade for Jonnu Smith today. You don't think they would like Cole Kmet? I think they would. So, yeah, it's just not trying to rip the guy because he's a former Packers QB, although FGB, you guys know the drill. But I do think it's kind of the latest example of just because a guy played in the league doesn't mean his analysis is always tip-top. But, hey, that's just my take. Grade this Cole Kmet take from Kurt Benkert, A, B, C, D, or FGB. That's what I should have put on it. You can write FGB if you think it's a straight-up F from Kurt Benkert. Just a bad take. We all have them. I've had them too. But, man, this is when you don't even get the money close to being correct. It's kind of a tough look. All right. Speaking of Cole Kmet, coming up, we'll have a little update from OTAs, a couple of nuggets coming out of yesterday's practice, so stay tuned for that. But if you want to get a jersey of his quarterbacks, Caleb Williams, $100 right now. Usually these jerseys are at least 120, so a nice little price there. Chatsports.com/Caleb Jersey. If you want to click and shop today, that link is in the comments and description of this video. Chatsports.com/Caleb Jersey. Go ahead and pick up one right now. Okay, let's talk about Cole Kmet at OTAs, because last week we heard Ben Johnson grilled him pretty good because he wasn't lined up in one of their formations properly, which I loved hearing, by the way. Don't let anything slip. And this week we heard that he was heavily featured in the practice that was open to the media. They're moving him around. They're sending him in motion, different things. We saw the Bears social media team today post a video of Caleb ripping a seam shot to him. That was great to see. Clay Harbor tweeting this out yesterday that Kmet had a nice day at OTAs. He moved around, looked comfortable doing it. He's showing that he can be versatile, which bodes well for his usage with Colston Loveland come the season. So, yeah, again, like, if anything, and by the way, there is a world where Colston Loveland ascends past Cole Kmet on the depth chart, but just to go back to the Benkert thing, that doesn't mean you cut Cole Kmet. It just means, okay, Loveland's just better right now, and you worry about Kmet's future in the future. I expect to see a motivated player here. I think he's kind of the forgotten man in this offensive arsenal. We all talk about DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Luther Bird, and you drafted Colston Loveland, DeAndre Swift. Are they going to add a running back? Cole Kmet has been a pretty darn steady player here. He's been a pretty good piece, and we bitched all of last year that they didn't get him the ball. I think Ben Johnson's going to find a way to get him the football. So I'm excited. Obviously, there's a lot of mouths to feed, but I think he can be an impactful player here, and I'm not just ready to write him off as a Chicago Bear. But I will say this, to everything I've said, he needs to produce this year. He needs to be effective and efficient. And while Benkert was way off on the Bears cutting him this year, regardless of moving on, next year, it's a real possibility. We talked about this weeks ago after the draft that DJ Moore and Cole Kmet, the idea of moving them now is insane just for money reasons alone. But next year, let's say Colston Loveland does surpass him. Let's say Rome Odunze and hell, even Luther Burden surpass DJ Moore. Not saying you have to move on from those guys, but financially it becomes a lot easier to dangle them out for trades or if you do want to cut them for whatever reason. So I do think Kmet needs to be motivated, and I expect him to be, but the idea of cutting him this year is still absolutely asinine, but at the same time, he's a player to watch this year because if he does have a disappointing year and they want to save some money, next year they could certainly do that. Will Cole Kmet be on the Bears roster in 2026? He obviously will be this year. Type Y for yes, he will. He'll still be on the team next year. Type N for no, he will not. I think he still will be because the only way he's not is if A, Loveland just goes nuclear, and B, they have another tight end to pair with him. I don't think Durham Smythe is going to be the long-term tight end too. So as of now, I would still expect Kmet to be here. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Chicago Bears Now. Subscribe to us if you like our analysis and our takes here on this channel. They're free. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button.